Oh my God.
So I'm like, man, I'll take you in the back and make you cry, like make you scream, dude. Like, what are you talking about? But if I make it, we even. So I'm like, oh, all right. So I shoot, I make it, boom. He shot, he missed, bam. I said, so you got me 100? And he was like, bet. I'm like, all right. So I shot, I make it. He shot, he make it. So I'm like, you still owe me 100?
Yeah.
And so he like, no, we even. I'm like, I start laughing. I'm like, dude, you owe me 100.
In response to Floyd Mayweather's recent comments challenging him, Terence Crawford fired back during a live interview. He labeled Floyd a clout chaser and claimed fighting him would be easy money. According to Crawford, Floyd is broke and trying to profit off his victory to fund his luxury lifestyle. Crawford added he doesn't want easy money, saying Mayweather is clearly past his best if you watch the events he puts together today.
Opportunity presented itself against Floyd, you would have though, even though you admire him so much and he's so great. But you
Floyd, yeah, because
Crawford also spoke about how unlikable Floyd is and how he tried to steal attention after his big win over Canelo. He said Mayweather sets a poor example for young boxers because his life outside the sport isn't something to follow. Following Crawford's dominant win against Canelo Alvarez, he became the undisputed super middleweight champion. Yet no top names are rushing to face him. Mayweather, a 5-division world champion and Hall of Famer, is now targeting Crawford after years away.
The ball, and this dude just come over there and like bet 100. I'm like, what? He like, bet 100? Bet 100 on what? He like, shot for shot, bet 100. So I'm like, so I make it, you give me
the part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course he is.
What do you want to see?
Before the fight, Mayweather never backed Crawford or said much about him. Instead, he only revealed his betting slip and money won after Crawford's victory, when he could have shown support beforehand. When it was time to make a call-out, Floyd went back to social media. Crawford responded by calling him crazy and drunk, making it clear he wasn't impressed with Mayweather's behavior.
Now, how do you beat Floyd though? Like, since nobody's been able to crack that code.
You think I would tell you?
He ain't fighting anymore. So that fight ain't gonna happen.
Ilia Topuria could knock out Bud Crawford on first contact. Is there any truth to it? Why is it always the MMA guys gotta go box? It doesn't sell. James Toney and the UFC lost a whole bunch of money with it. If Ilia Topuria really could beat up Terence Crawford, why didn't he go into boxing? Ilia is our champion. After seeing Conor, who could not make an amateur Olympic team.
This happened. When I looked at it, he came out in the southpaw stance and he took Canelo's jab away from him. As you know, if you take a fighter's jab away from them, then it's hard for them to really land. You force them to use one shot, and he forced them to use his backhand, his rear hand. Crawford was ready for the loop in the right hands. Crawford was ready for the body shot.
The song out and performed tonight. I got Mexicans and Latinos on my side as well, so.
Did you know Ilia Topuria walks out to that song in the UFC?
You said what?
Ilia Topuria walks out to that song in the UFC.
Did he? Oh. Good for him.
This came after another incident Saturday night, during the fight. Ilia Topuria was upset when Crawford entered the ring using Conchin del Mariachi from Desperado, the same walkout Topuria uses in UFC. At the post-fight press conference, Crawford, 37, denied copying him, but the UFC lightweight champion reacted on social media. He mocked Crawford, saying, "You call me drunk, but then use my music." Topuria challenged him, offering to show him how mariachi is really done, promising to face Canelo after.
Crawford stated, I don't know who he is. Ilia's mad. It works every time, and Ilia went crazy. Ilia's just, you don't know who I met you at this. When Ilia responds with truth, when he brings the receipts and the facts, that's what you do when you're at.
Crawford laughed off Topuria's comments and said he was clout chasing, even comparing him unfavorably to Conor McGregor. On Ariel Helwani's show, Crawford said he believed Topuria just wanted attention and maybe planned to walk with him for a fight paycheck. He said Topuria's thinking made no sense and didn't deserve attention. Crawford also revealed he had never seen Topuria fight and was surprised the UFC champion didn't ask to fight when they met months earlier in Las Vegas.
None of it. He's like, who the f*** is that guy? He's not on my level. He's not on Conor McGregor's level. What the hell is going on? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Jake Paul's fighting Gervonta Davis. If that can happen, or him fighting Mike Tyson, if there's a world that we live in where that can go down and get watched by millions of people on Netflix.
Later online, Crawford saw Topuria talking about knocking him out in the first round and more. He said if Topuria really wanted the fight, he could have said so face-to-face. Crossover fights between boxing and MMA often bring big money, but Crawford dismissed any value in facing Topuria, insisting it was nothing like Mayweather versus McGregor in 2017. He questioned what benefit such a fight would bring him, calling Topuria nowhere near McGregor's level and not worth the mention.
Conor was always willing to risk it. Ilya, I believe, is willing to risk it. Ilya versus Crawford. Am I wasting my time talking to you guys about that? Maybe not. There's not yet something here, but there's not nothing here.
Crawford admitted maybe Topuria is a decent fighter, but he has never seen him compete. He explained that comparing him to Conor McGregor is unfair because McGregor had proven himself on the biggest stages. Soon after, Topuria answered boldly, predicting how a fight between them would go. On social media, he reminded Crawford of their first meeting, claiming his memory was fading, warning that soon his chin would too. Topuria promised to represent MMA fully against the pound-for-pound boxing star.
I gotta leave Bud alone. I think Bud Crawford is just different. In a boxing ring with him, bro, you're not gonna last more than one round, I don't think. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets in the UFC and beat the out of some guys too, because he got a great wrestling back.
Shakur Stevenson, another top boxer, recently suggested Crawford could actually beat an MMA fighter in their own sport. Speaking with Ariel Helwani, Stevenson sparked debate by saying Crawford's wrestling background from his youth in Nebraska gave him the grappling needed for MMA. He was confident Crawford's athleticism and experience would carry into cage fighting. His remarks pushed the idea that Crawford might surprise people if he ever stepped into the octagon against an opponent like Topuria.
Obviously, it was a great show today. I was curious about your entrance, how you came to choose that song in particular to walk out to.
Well, you know, it was part of my outfit. The outfit was inspired by the movie Desperado. As you see, I had the guitar and everything, and my great childhood friend, Rosendo Robles, he was the one that, carried the song out.
Terence Crawford had the goddamn audacity to walk out to Ilya Topuria's walkout song. I mean, what on earth is going on? How dare he? That is Ilya Topuria's song, okay? Ilya Topuria took exception to this in a very big way, and now these two are going back and forth. They are talking shit, and Crawford ain't having none of it.
Stevenson continued by saying Topuria didn't seem as tough as hyped and had no doubts Crawford could handle him. He even said it wouldn't be shocking if Crawford submitted Topuria thanks to his wrestling background. His bold claims sounded like usual fighter talk, but Stevenson's confidence showed he genuinely believed Crawford could transition well. For him, Crawford's athletic skills and past wrestling would allow him to hold his own if the fight ever happened under MMA rules.
How did that feel to hear that from someone like him?
I just was like, well, it's his personal opinion. He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. One where he felt like he was at the best.
Former UFC champion Daniel Cormier didn't believe it was realistic, offering strong reasons. He said Topuria isn't near McGregor's star level. He also pointed out that Mayweather and Tyson Fury could carry opponents like McGregor and Ngannou to make fights look competitive. Cormier felt Crawford wouldn't approach it that way. He praised McGregor's ability to last against Mayweather and Francis Ngannou's fight with Tyson Fury as among the most surprising things he had witnessed in combat sports.
UFC world, Ilya Topuria says that if you guys ever boxed, he would knock you out based on the first punch.
That dude drunk, Hey, a lot of MMA guys, they drink a lot, so he must have been on that alcohol that day.
Cormier added that Mayweather and Fury knew how to keep opponents in fights long enough to look competitive. He said Ilya Topuria isn't as famous as McGregor and needs that popularity to get such matchups. Without it, Cormier doubted the fight would happen. He believed Crawford, who has always chased big opportunities, would be smarter to focus on fights that truly grow his legacy instead of risking time on Topuria, who lacks the star power required.
I'm betting my money on anybody who mother used to go outside and pay kids money to beat her son up. I'm paying y'all real cash money to beat my son, and nobody got the money. I'm betting on that guy.
You betting on that guy? Hey.
Cormier continued by saying Crawford would only gain new fans by fighting someone more popular. He noted that Crawford likes UFC and knows Topuria, but still didn't see it worth selling. Michael Chiesa also dismissed the idea, saying Topuria couldn't beat the new undisputed super middleweight champion inside a boxing ring. Chiesa made it clear he didn't support the dream fight, even though Topuria was confident about his chances against Crawford after his huge win.
big star, UFC, Ilia Topuria, and fight with the #1 boxer right now. If you can do that, why not do that?
We did see Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua.
And you think Topuria can fight with him?
I don't. You asked me straight up, I do not think so, because Crawford is not going to enter a fight.
Marketing.
Poirier goes out and tweets, if I were to face Terence Crawford in boxing, I would put him to sleep. Now, this was after Terence Crawford went on the Nelk Boys podcast. Kyle said, who do you think the best boxer in the UFC is? Have you seen Ilya? He goes, oh no, it's easily Cody Garbrandt.
Have you seen Topuria? Have you seen his fights recently?
Chiesa added that after Mayweather versus McGregor, crossover fights lost meaning. He said that kind of matchup isn't what combat sports should be about, as it waters down the sport's value. He explained Mayweather promoted brilliantly, while Crawford doesn't focus as much on hype. Crawford, he said, is all about fighting. Floyd was too.
You have interest in fighting him.
For what?
Money.
What money would I get out of fighting him? Tell me how much I'm gonna get out of fighting him.
Floyd made a lot, obviously, to fight Conor.
He's not nowhere near on the level of Conor McGregor. Let's be real, stop it. Don't ever compare him to Conor. Conor was...
Unlike McGregor, Topuria doesn't have the sharp personality to pull people from all sides. For fights like that, star power matters as much as skills. Dana White, UFC's president, also said he doesn't want fighters getting into boxing. He made one exception in 2017 with Mayweather versus McGregor, which became historic. Despite White recently exploring boxing promotions, he hasn't shifted his stance about UFC athletes stepping into boxing, keeping his roster mostly focused on MMA.
Recently?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Cody got them hands.
Obviously, Ilya, that's probably maybe ignited a beef, and Terence Crawford is wrong. Ilya Topuria is the best boxer in the UFC. Does this eventually set up an Ilya into boxing? If Ilya...
Like, you're not going to see a wild part of the fight. Crawford was just going to be too clean, too smooth, too fast, and just keep him at distance the whole time, 36 minutes. They wouldn't even sanction a 12-round fight for Ilia Topuria. He's never fought 36 minutes.
Crawford himself said he never saw Topuria fight despite being an MMA fan. But Topuria keeps winning by making him talk. Every time Crawford responds, Topuria gains attention. That's why many believe Topuria benefits regardless. Former UFC champion and Hall of Famer also spoke up after Crawford's majority decision win over Canelo Alvarez. Rumors immediately began of Crawford versus Topuria, especially since Crawford walked out to Antonio Banderas' El Matador, Topuria's usual UFC entrance music.
Real wrestlers on some everyday shit. Cause Bud looked bigger than that guy. He got longer arms. I wouldn't be surprised come fight night if they do an MMA fight, if Bud done knocked him out sleep or choked him.
Crawford explained later that his walkout song was a tribute to Banderas, not meant as an insult to Topuria. Still, after beating Alvarez, speculation grew about whether Crawford would consider a crossover fight. With Mayweather-McGregor and Fury-Ngannou proving successful, some wondered if Crawford might take that route. Michael Bisping, however, advised him against it. He warned that chasing a Topuria fight for money could damage Crawford's career rather than help it in the long run.
For sure. I've seen Conor McGregor fight a lot of times. It's night and day. You know it's night and day. Don't ever try to say they on the same level. What are we talking about? We not talking about that. Tell that guy to, keep up the good work in his career.
When asked directly, Bisping said Crawford doesn't need to fight Topuria. At 37, unbeaten, and already wealthy, chasing money fights isn't necessary. He compared it to rejecting Jake Paul offers to protect his own legacy. Bisping argued Crawford should avoid risking his reputation, even if UFC's Dana White could set it up. He said Topuria might want the spotlight, but Crawford is too skilled, polished, and fast. In a boxing ring, Topuria couldn't last 12 rounds with him.